And once you have the right gear, the elements are just another factor to the motorcycle trip. The motorcycle is an expression of the person that rides it, and the bag that carries his shit when he's on the road should be as nice as the motorcycle he's riding. Now I'm single. If I was ever going to put some flames on a bag, you knew where they were going. Oh. But dude, you are the king of flames. And when I saw that bike and I knew I could get my hands on gold leather, I knew automatically that I was going to make a flaming Roadrunner because nobody can rock it better than you can. And on this bike, this is going to be cherry when it's all packed up. I've built a bag that can make you a better rider.
So, when it comes down to your heavy distance bike trip, there are many factors to consider in regards to finding success. But however, as someone who has been ripping cross country and back for the better part of a decade, if I had to whittle it down to one of the truest key factors, it would indefinitely come down to my main Sissy bar bag. Especially if you're pushing yourself to rip these trips on a bike that wasn't designed to do so, a quality Sissy bar bag can truly make or break your entire trip. Many of the bags I've run over the years have only lasted 1 or 2 long trips before starting to deteriorate and degrade. And I was actually starting to consider the added burden of installing a hard tour pack when I met this man at the block party many years back. There are a lot of companies that casually throw around the statement, quote unquote, made by riders for riders. But the Mad Squirrel takes this saying and lives it out in the most authentic way. One small anecdotal is he treated riding down from New Brunswick, Canada to the block party in Brooklyn like it was a trip down the block. And seconds within getting to meet this man, I knew that he was no joke when it came down to distance riding. That being said, just like you want your doctor to have a degree and certification in the medical field, so do you want the person designing your gear for distance riding to be actively clearing heavy miles himself. It is this true perspective as being a distance rider himself that has allowed him to design hands down the best Sissy bar bag I have ever run throughout my last 10 years. Whether it was a coast to coast or even some 2-up moto camping, this is a bag that has gotten me through some of the sketchiest situations on the road. The type of bag that doesn't fall apart 10,000 miles later, but on the contrary, only gets better with age. 100% waterproof and 100% made by hand. Inherent factors that only take a few days on the road to truly shine. Every single detail meticulously thought of, again, from someone who knows the long road better than most. For us, this thing is a lifestyle, not a trend. And if you're in it for the long haul and not just one season or two after the hype wears off, then investing in the highest quality Sissy bar bag is an investment that will pay off the second you tie this thing down to your bike. Again, as someone who routinely rips coast-to-coast trips, I could tell you that my Roadrunner from the Mad Squirrel has not only made my bike trips doable, but truly enjoyable and smooth beyond belief, especially when it comes down to packing out my bike. So yeah, I can literally go on all day about this bag, but I was fortunate enough to sit down with the Mad Squirrel himself recently and hear it firsthand, so let's pan over to him.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain this, but I just spent 25 days on the road I left the Atlantic Ocean of Canada out of New Brunswick, and in 6 days made my way to Hayes, Kansas, munching 90 miles an hour through random states, city after city, in all kinds of weather, rain every day. And by the time I got to Hayes, Kansas, I was hosting a ride with Good Times Motorcycles, and there was a group of 30 bikes, and 12, I want to say 9, because we met 3 on the way up to Deadwood. 9 out of the 30 had nutsacks strapped to their bike. So for me, as a maker, as a guy who loves this shit and lives for this, to be halfway across America, surrounded by my own bags that I had made, each and every one of them, by strangers I had never met or people I had met once or twice, is the highest feeling a maker or an artist can feel, because these bags came from a want. So when I started riding choppers and I had a Sportster, I started getting away for 3 or 4 days. I had a bag, and the first time I went out, I got caught in the rain, and all my shit was soaked, and I hated it so much. I came home kind of wanting to sell my motorcycle because it sucked. I was 7 hours away from home, all my shit was soaking wet, and I wasn't having fun anymore. And I'd been doing leather work for 7 or 8 years, I guess, at the time. And I decided to apply for a little grant to buy a few sewing machines, and I started researching waterproof canvas. And I made what I thought was an affordable bag, and I called it the Nutsack because the studio was called Mad Squirrel. And that was the original 3.0. And ever since then, 7, 8 years ago, the lineup has grown to 3.0s, Chubbies, Ramblers, Roadrunners, Slim Tims, and side pouches and top pouches and hammer holders and blanket roll straps. And it keeps going and going. But once I realized that I had the right gear, and once you have the right gear, the elements are just another factor to the motorcycle trip. And if you know your shit's gonna be dry, no matter where you end up or what you run through, you kind of don't care anymore because you can keep going. And so the bag over the last 7 years, and I don't know how many I've sold. I think I'm like probably somewhere around 1,000 nutsacks around the world. But these 2 hands have made every single one of them. And no one's ever told me they didn't like their bag. And anybody that's bought a leather bag, if I'm thinking about Becky Goebel, I remember the first year I started making my bags out of leather because I thought, okay, wait, these bags actually work. I'm gonna drop the outer layer that was canvas and make that the inner layer, and I'm gonna do the outer layer out of leather. So now it's bomb proof and it's gonna last, because motorcycles are just hard on your gear, and nylon brakes and zippers fail and plastic snaps. Whether it's cold, whether it's overusage, it doesn't matter. There's factors that come into play when you're on a motorcycle and you're on the road crushing miles. So that's why I went to all leather hardware. That's where, all steel hardware. That's why I went to leather outers with canvas inners. And now they have a dry bag inner, which is more than solid enough to be an outer layer, but that's not what it's about. The motorcycle is an expression of the person that rides it, and the bag that carries his shit when he's on the road should be as nice as the motorcycle he's riding. And my bags aren't cheap, I get it, but to be honest, they're probably way too cheap, and they should be double the price that they are. I'm not in this to make money. I don't want to be a millionaire. I hate millionaires. I don't hate money, but I'm not in it to make money. I'm in it to live a life that feeds my soul. And this bag does that. It checks that box. When you buy a Roadrunner bag out of leather and you get a few accessories for it, dude, if you don't need a full wardrobe when you're on the road, you could be on the road for a month and a half. It doesn't matter. After you have 3 pairs of underwear and you can wash them in the river, all you need is your camping gear and your essential goods. And so, I mean, my bag when I started making it, made me want to ride more. And from riding more, like I'm a chopper dude. And look at me, I'm on a 2022 El Diablo 117 fuel injected with a speedometer and fenders and blinkers. And this is not me. And I still feel weird when I ride this bike. But whether you're on a chopper or a modern bike, it doesn't matter. If you're in this game of motorcycles for crushing miles and reaching goals and seeing new places and riding new roads, no matter what the weather is, my bag will become your road dog on all and every road trip you're going to take, because it's never going to let you down. It's always going to have your back, literally and metaphorically. And leaning next to a bag like this and having back support and not fighting wind anymore is the difference between being done after 500 miles or doing 800 miles 5 days in a row and wanting to keep going. So what I've come to realize is not only did I don't want to sound pompous, not only did I build or designed a great motorcycle bag, I've built a bag that can make you a better rider, because it really does that. It becomes something that you have confidence in and you literally can lean on it. And it doesn't matter the weather. And I mean, this bag here has 125,000 miles on it. It's a first generation Roadrunner. So it's probably now 4 years old. And every Roadrunner I make, I keep for myself. To be honest, I make bags and I don't want to ship them to the customers because I'm like, I would keep that colorway for me. But the fact that people who buy my bag and ride with my bag come back to tell me how they feel about the bag makes me realize that I am doing exactly what I should be doing with my life. I don't care if I stay broke and just make good bags for everybody that munches miles on their motorcycles. If that's what it ends up being, that's golden. I won the lottery and I'm the king of the world, because it's not about money, man. It's about the miles and the friends and the smiles. And so what this bag has done for me on a road trip is epic. But what this bag has done for me in my life is even grander than that.
Now back to more recent times. It was a random early July day, and I was doing some of the final preparations on my bike to prepare it to clear a 10,000 plus mile bike trip. Of course, a custom Roadrunner from the Mad Squirrel was to be the finishing touch on this jaw-dropping build, but the icing on the cake was having this man truly live up to his name and ride all the way from New Brunswick to be sure that I would have a proper bag for my upcoming trip as he hand-delivered it.
What's going on? What's going on? Well, I just pulled in to upper state New York from the Atlantic Ocean with a special package. Mad Squirrel Mail, the quickest motorcycle parts and equipment shipping outfit in North America. You haven't heard about it? It's not even a thing yet. Look out, it's coming. It's quick. So I left home last night around 10 o'clock. And I was at the border, I guess, at 12:30, 1 a.m. Pulled into Lewiston, saw a hotel with a comfy little outdoor couch. So I passed out there for 2 hours, woke up at 4 and filled my tank and kept going. And now I'm here and I'm delivering a couple bags for a couple of special bikes. So right here, I want to say it's a version 1.0, but yeah, I guess there's only two versions of the Roadrunner. They always had this pocket, but like mine here didn't have these loops for your straps. It didn't have these. Your top straps weren't removable. So this is the newer version of the Roadrunner. Since then, I have eliminated these because a lot of us run fancy seats, and you don't want those rivets to tarnish that, whether it be your stitching or your leather. You've got how many miles? 10,000 on this one. So you've got a second version Roadrunner. I guess it's taller. That was a 27 incher. Now it's a 32. 10,000 miles on this one. This one's 6 years old, and it's got, I don't know, I wish I would have counted. It's got to be close to, it's over 150 for sure in the last 6 years. This bike alone is now sitting at 43,000 miles. 1,000 miles. So yeah. So it's pretty cool to see a bag that's 2 years old now. You've got 1 or 2 seasons?
That's just
one season.
That's a coast to coast.
One trip. That's right. Your 10,000 mile trip. Because I also last year, while you were on that trip, I was knocking out 21 US states in 24 days. Hell yeah. Now I'm single. Inside the first OG Roadrunner nutsack that I'm running right here is, I told Tara this yesterday, Tara Lightfoot, my friend from BC. She's the one that has the red and white and brass bag that I made, I want to say 2 months ago. To me, that one took the cake as my all-time favorite nutsack Roadrunner that I did. But I told her last night, I was like, I'm working on a bag right now that I think might take the crown from your red and white. And it's rolled up in here. It's pretty special. If I was ever going to put some flames on a bag, you knew where they were going. Yeah, Von Gasbolt. So, because a photographer, I mean, he's absolutely going to need a top pouch. But he's got a fuel sling. He's got a set of blanket straps, and he's got one side pouch for now. Again, a photographer, he'll probably want another side pouch. So this is his top cap. Now, some brown and brass. Well, I'm just going to continue with Von Gasbolt's bag because I save the best for last. Here, all leather. All black and brass, set up for Von Gasbolt's beautiful Dyna. Oh man, I'm stoked you guys are both set up now. Dude. So, yeah. Well, when you first said, hey, I got this special project coming and I need a special bag. And then you sneaked me a pic and I saw the paint. I was like, holy okay, I got to make a special bag. And right away, I knew it was going to have brass, obviously because of the gold. And I knew I was going to have to outsource some bone or off-white or natural leather. And I mean, you look good on stripes. Everybody knows that. And stripes look good everywhere. But dude, you are the king of flames. And when I saw that bike and I knew I could get my hands on gold leather, I knew automatically that I was going to make a flaming Roadrunner because nobody can rock it better than you can. And on this bike, this is going to be cherry when it's all packed up. This was I'll be honest, this was a headache to do because of this seam. So I had to cut all your flames right across the center. And then I had to make sure they lined up when the bag was stitched together. So I'm pretty stoked on this. I can't wait to see it sitting on the bike and packed. I mean, the bag is a superstar. That bike is a superstar. But this bag on this bike kind of makes me feel like a superstar. So I want to thank you for that because this is special. This is special, and you reaching out to me to make this for that bike. So, all right, yeah, this bag. So if you're a guy and your chick is looking at this and she's like, oh my God, could he make a purse? I can, but the answer is no. I make motorcycle bags, fancy motorcycle bags. But this motorcycle bag, as fancy as it looks and as pretty as it is, it's not gonna stay like that because these things are made for a purpose and it's crushing miles and going into and through all kinds of weather. So I can't wait to see this thing with a little bit of wear and tear. It's going on a 5-week road trip, basically across America into the Canadian Rockies, and back via FXDLX. So, I mean, making one bag for you and watching you rip it around for a year was definitely a treat for me. Getting the opportunity to now have Von Gasfalt on board, flying with Mad Squirrel, and you with a second bag that is as nice as this one is on that bike that it's going. Like I said, man, I feel like a superstar. I just wanted to make bags that work. The fact that I got people like y'all and everybody else that's been supporting this for me is, I don't even know how to put it into words. Sometimes I forget stuff, like this rivet. You see this little hole right there? I see you. Yeah, so we're gonna fix that for them. Maybe I'll just come for a little ride at some point with a hammer and a rivet, and we'll smack one rivet and I'll go home. If you like riding motorcycles, it's not a big deal. Google said 13:46 minutes, so let's round it off at 16. 32 hours of riding from the Atlantic Canadian coast to upper state New York to drop off these bags. If that sounds crazy, it's not, because last week I rode from Los Angeles, California. I know, because I've seen pics of the bike that this bag is going on. You don't. You will by the time this comes out. But what the idea was to basically take the paint job and have it carry through onto the nutsack. So I tried to match the flame layout and the style, I should say. So when this thing is all packed up and round, all these flames are gonna wrap around the bag on a full load, and they come around to the back. So, yeah. Am I making flame nutsacks now? We now know I can make flame nutsacks. It's a lot more work than stripes, and but I'm game. If you want to pay, I want to play. So there you have it. This bag right here, as far as I think, as close as tomorrow, day after, you guys are booking it. So maiden voyage for the bag and the bike. Next 5 weeks on the road. My job is done, signed, sealed, delivered. One missing rivet, but we're okay with it. I gotta basically just jump on this bike and ride 16 hours back to Canada to keep making your bag, her bag, his bag, and Buddy's bag, and all your other bags. So you can see this in person in Milwaukee at the homecoming. That's next weekend. And you can catch me at Sturgis from the 31st to the 6th, because I'll be back in Hayes by the 28th, I guess. In 3 weeks, I'm already back there. So I'm going home to work so I can go back to riding. Mad Squirrel out.
You don't have to look too far to see that the level of thought and craft that went into this bag is truly jaw-dropping. The level of passion that this man has for these bags come off loud and clear as day as always, as he proudly displayed the first ever flamed out Roadrunner. I have not yet released too much content from my last trip, but let's just say 10,000 plus miles later, once again, this Roadrunner was a key factor in closing out yet another successful bike trip that took me coast to coast. Now, is it going to be more expensive than a bag that's mass-produced in a factory somewhere? You bet it will be. But will it get you through bike trip after bike trip for as long as you're down to do it? Well, that's damn near guaranteed. I do want to give a massive shout out to this man once again for putting his heart and soul into these bags. For those of us who go all the way, these bags are a true game changer. If you want to see it in person, come on out to the Indian Larry block party in September. I can say a million nice things about these bags, but actions, as always, speak louder than words. And you only need to look no further than the riders who run these bags and what they put them through to know that it's the real deal. And on that, support handmade products designed by true distance riders, invest in quality gear for your bike trips, and get yourself a real Sissy Bar bag today. FXDLS Brooklyn is out.